Hello, YouTube. It's Barbara Jean. I wanted to talk about something that happened in my life that I was thinking about last night. I had such an emotional day yesterday, and so I spent all night with the Lord. And anyway, I wanted to talk about fame. It's such a slippery slope, and so many people, including Christians, fall into this uh, chasm of wanting fame, wanting earthly glory, wanting the earthly prize. I wanted to talk about that a bit. I'm going to read some verses for you first, from Matthew 4:8. This is the last temptation of Jesus Christ in the desert, in the wilderness. And again the devil taketh him up to an exceedingly high mountain, and sheweth him all the kingdoms of the world, and the glory of them, and saith unto them, All these things will I give thee, if thou wilt fall down and worship me. And then saith Jesus unto him, Get thee hence, Satan, for it is written, Thou shalt worship the Lord thy God, and him only shalt thou serve. And then I'm going to read from Luke 9:20. He saith unto them, But whom say ye that I am? Peter answered, saying, The Christ of God. And he straitly charged them and commanded them to tell no man the thing, saying, The Son of Man must suffer many things, and be rejected of the elders and chief priests and scribes, and be slain, and be raised the third day. And he said to them all, If any man will come after me, let him deny himself, and take up his cross daily, and follow me. For whosoever will save his life shall lose it, but whoever will lose his life for my sake, the same shall save it. For what is a man's advantage if he gains the whole world, and lose himself, or be cast away? And whosoever shall be ashamed of me and of my words, of him shall the Son of Man be ashamed, when he shall come in his own glory, and in his Father's, and in the holy angels shall reward him, and of the holy angels shall reward him openly. I also want to read Matthew 6:5. And when thou prayest, thou shalt not be as the hypocrites are, for they love to pray standing in the synagogues and in the corners of the streets, that they may be seen of men. Verily I say unto you, they have their reward. But thou, when thou prayest, enter in thy closet, and when thou hast shut the door, pray to thy Father, which is in secret, and thy Father which seeth in secret shall reward thee openly. Okay, so what I wanted to talk about was something that happened in my own life. Um, uh, I always wondered, I had a hard time in life because I always wondered why I couldn't seem to succeed in anything I did. It was very discouraging to me because I wanted success. I thought success was the way that that it seemed like God was happy with me. If I could be successful in this world, like we all have that same, I guess, same prayer or desire when we're kids. If I could be, if I could cure cancer, I could do something for the world. We look for that great thing to do in order to be successful or to seem successful or to feel that we've been successful in this world. Well, for some reason, I know at an early age when I gave my life to Jesus and I gave my heart to him and I prayed earnestly I wanted to walk with him. Well, little did I know that I would have to suffer. And that means what part of the suffering would mean that I would have to give up earthly glory. I would have to give up um, that success that we all look for in life. Um, just recently, I was watching someone else's YouTube program, and Bob Dylan was on there, and he was talking about how he had sold his soul to the devil, and and then you watch Beyonce on Super Bowl, and here she is strutting her stuff all over the stage, and there's millions of people yelling and screaming over her, and then you see Lady Gaga, and you think, oh, but here she is super famous. Why? Because the devil has made them famous, just like he tempted Jesus with fame of the world. He would give him all the kingdoms if he'd fall down and worship him. Well, this is the same temptation he uses on us today. He uses that same temptation. He has used that same temptation all throughout history. Fall down and worship Satan, he will give you success. And I think that he does have some power to do it. Why? Because the powers that be, the people who run this world, most of them are influenced by Satan if they're not directly under his control. And so they do have the power to lift you up and give you earthly glory. But when you give your heart to Jesus, we are asked to make some hard choices, and sometimes it means giving up the things that we think that we need, that we desire, that we want. And a lot of times it means giving up our earthly glory to walk humbly with the Lord, to take up our cross as Christ did. He did not walk in his glory while he was here on earth. Yes, he did many miracles, but he did those by the power of the Holy Spirit. But he was not yet glorified. You ever think about when Jesus Christ came back to the earth, after his resurrection, and people didn't recognize him? It was because he was glorified. When he was resurrected from the dead, he put on his glory. So that's why they didn't recognize him. And it was only when he said something or did something that their eyes were opened to see him for himself, that he was indeed Jesus Christ. He put off his earthly glory. He did not fall down and say at the feet of Satan, said, "Yeah, I'm nervous about not receiving any glory, so I'll give you my worship so I can receive my glory now." That's what Christ is asking us to do on a daily basis, is to put down our earthly glory. Sometimes it means giving up our hopes and our desires for what we want in this world. And over again, I found that in my own life. Um, I kept wondering why I kept being blocked here, there, and everywhere. I have this wonderful voice that I never received any glory for, even though every time I sang, people tell me all the shivers and the chills and all the stuff they would get, and how I'm going to be famous one day. Well, I never was. I never received that glory. That's because the Lord was preserving me for a spiritual glory. I had there was a point in my life where I had to make a decision whether I was going to continue with show business or I was going to leave show business and move and walk with the Lord. And I was actually shown, and I won't tell you why or how this happened, but I was shown what would have happened. I had a choice to make, to stay with the show, to sign my contract and stay on with the show. And it was like I was on a pinnacle or a precipice in my life where I had to make a decision whether I was going to choose fame and glory or I was going to choose Christ. And it was a really hard decision. It took me a long time to put my pen to that, or to not sign that contract. I was given this contract and I almost signed it, but I couldn't. Something kept stopping me from doing it. And then it wasn't until about a year later that I was shown that if I had followed that route, it would have led me to hell. It would have led me to hell. It was a shock. Who would have thought? I didn't. But sometimes when we go through suffering in this earth, we wonder why we are repressed and suppressed. Well, remember that Satan doesn't want us, first of all, to succeed, and he wants us to bow down and worship him. He wants us to give up our rights and come to him for our glory. But if we are giving up ourselves, if we daily sacrifice ourselves and wait for that glory that's going to come with the resurrection and the rapture of the church, then we'll receive our glory. And all those things that we have desired and wanted in our spirit, will be given to us at another time. But we have to be patient as Christ was patient. To receive his glory, we have to walk with him and crucify our flesh and wait for our glory, which will come when he comes for us. We will be given glory. We will rule and reign with Christ Jesus. We will walk with him in the high places. We will be given mansions and we will live eternally. We will be eternally happy. So even Christians can fall into this trap, of earthly glory. It says here about the man standing on the corner praying in the synagogues with his hand up. And I'm sure he had a lot of people watching how wonderful and righteous he was. But according to the scriptures, he received his rewards. There was no more glory for him. He got his glory here on his earth. That he did not go into his prayer closet and pray in private and receive instruction from the Lord and humble his spirit before God. He stood up in the market and prayed his prayer in front of everybody, and it made everybody wonder at his greatness and his wonder. And he guess what? He got his reward. He got his glory, and that's all he's going to get. So we, even as Christians, can be tempted into this slippery slope of fame and receiving glory today. And that's why it's really dangerous. We need to pray for those people who are in authority in the church, the pastors, the preachers, the teachers, those people who have authority over others. We need to be really, they really need to be held up in prayer, because this temptation of glory and fame on earth is a real stronghold and a temptation for that has brought a lot of ministers down. A lot of teachers in the gospel has brought them down. So anyway, I think that's all I really need to say. I wanted to say, just trust in Jesus. Don't be worried if you don't get what you think you deserve here on earth. If you trust in Jesus and allow Him to humble you and keep you in that place of crucifying the flesh on a daily basis, you will receive your glory and you will be lifted up. He will give you your reward in heaven, and it will be magnificent. So I don't really think I'm going to be making too many videos today. Yesterday was such an emotional day for me, but um, I'm going to try and make some other videos later on. Talk to you later. God bless. God bless.